Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. This is Khawaja Hammad Akbar and you're watching Global Times Pakistan. Last week, European Union Parliament adopted a resolution against Pakistan on blasphemy law and minorities' rights. And also, they have taken up a subject of mob justice culture in Pakistan. In the reply to that resolution, Foreign Office showed disappointment and called that resolution unnecessary. And today, Prime Minister Imran Khan chaired a meeting earlier this day and urged not to compromise on the blasphemy law and showed a commitment to give a European Union a strong reply. To discuss what reply Pakistan government should give to European Union Parliament, I have with me Ambassador Najmuddin Sheikh, former Foreign Secretary of Pakistan. Assalamu alaikum, sir. Sir, to understand, how should Pakistan reply to the European Union resolution?
But I think a strong reply doesn't necessarily mean that it should be couched in undiplomatic language. I think the point that Prime Minister Imran Khan would want to make to the rest of the world is that perhaps we should view Islamophobia and this particular action as perhaps reflective of that in a manner that will be found more convincing to Western audiences. We must, of course, recognize that we have to make some changes ourselves within. That we cannot suggest that we are that while we intend to protect the religious feelings and the requirement of not tolerating insults to the Holy Prophet or to the beliefs that are incorporated in what has been said, but to do so in a manner that suggests that we are trying to protect, not to exploit, and for that we have to be sure that in areas where our own position is, let us say, not as sound as it should be. For instance, in terms of the treatment of the minorities, we are able to present with adequate documentation the fact that the charges made against us are false.
Mob justice was referred in the resolution that was adopted by the European Union Parliament, and also the question on the rights of minorities being raised and freedom of speech being discussed. So, sir, do you believe that the European Parliament has the mandate to discuss and brought the issues of internal issues of a country and in the resolution and discuss that in the Parliament, European Union Parliament?
Well, that's the whole point. That this is the perception that exists. Now that perception has to be done away with, or has to be countered. And I'm not sure that you can do that unless you are able to present the facts that prove it to be untrue or to be exaggerated. So I think we have our work cut out for us in terms of making the diplomatic presentations that are needed in these capitals, and to ensure that they are viewed in that particular light that we would like. Let me say that I think this is going to be a very difficult task in terms of the actual problem, but we have the fact that I think the EU would be careful about following the recommendations made by the EU Parliament, because there are other interests in Pakistan, other interests in ensuring the stability of Pakistan and ensuring the stability of South Asia as a whole. They know that if the generalized system of GSP that has been given to Pakistan, if that is removed, some $8 billion worth of textile exports to the EU would be affected, and this would generate extreme economic difficulties in a country that is already suffering the economic hardships that have been part of the COVID-19 and, of course, the downturn in the economy that had occurred in the past few years in Pakistan.
Lastly, sir, let's suppose you are sitting in Foreign Office and you have to suggest and give recommendation to the current government. So, what would be your recommendations?
Well, I think we have to support the strength of your foreign policy, and the strength for the position you can take is determined by your internal strength and your internal strength, both political and economic. On both fronts, I think we need to work harder at ensuring that we are on the right path, and that right path can be continued, so that we are then able to make our foreign policy independent of the pressures that may come. But currently, we must recognize that those pressures exist and those pressures are real. Let me continue to say that if, for instance, there is a withdrawal of, and I don't see that happening right now, because there are other considerations that will weigh with the EU policymakers. But if that were to happen, then your cost of servicing the debt that you have, the cost of further borrowing that you may need to do will be extremely high and will place an onerous burden on a country that is already in difficult economic circumstances.
Thank you, Ambassador Najmuddin Sheikh Saab, for sharing your worthy recommendations with Global Times Pakistan and making a point that Pakistan must not adopt any kind of undiplomatic attitude or behavior in responding to the European Union resolution. This is all for today from Global Times Pakistan audience.